Well, I have the honor of introducing the speaker, and as I was looking at his bio, I was just amazed with the length of accomplishments and achievements this man has made. Mark Stansberry is a respected energy industry expert, sought for his expertise and commentary by the U.S. Senate, many committees on the Senate, as well as CNN, the Wall Street Journal, and other outlets and agencies. He is the founder and chairman of GTD Group, which stands for Global Trade and Development, where he has helped American businesses navigate and expand into international markets. He has served on several public, private, and nonprofit boards, including a previous 9-year term on the Board of Regents for the Regional University System of Oklahoma, and was the chairman for People to People International, a Kansas City-based nonprofit that promotes world peace through cultural education and understanding. And in his spare time, he is an author and an independent film producer. Mark is serving a second term as on the Board of Regents, Regional University System of Oklahoma, as the vice chair. Please welcome Mr. Mark Stansberry.
Thanks, John. Now, I understand this meeting's over at 1:30, is that right? Well, since nobody laughed, then what it is. No, I thank you very much. My wife, Nancy, has been the women's director for the singing school, the Alva School of Music, for 16 years. And so I come up here and station in a hotel room, a motel room, and that's the office for a week, and I come in and out or whatever, but I really look forward to coming to Alva. And I've served, as mentioned, John, on Northwestern's board and Regional University System of Oklahoma, which includes 6 total universities. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. Served 9 years, and now I'm going on a 2-year term, actually 2 years, I have a 4-year plus term. I'll talk about that. But I want to thank Steve and the Northwestern table over here for being here, and all the work that they do is unbelievable, outstanding, and I appreciate each one of you that are tied to Northwestern. This is 40 years. 40 years in the energy business, oil and gas business. June 1st, 1977. And for some of you might remember 1977. There's some of you don't. We didn't have the iPhone. We didn't have a lot of the technology we have today. In fact, I remember typing a lease on a typewriter, which if I mention that to kids these days, that's really antiquated. But I was part of the antiquated group who would go to a farm and type a lease, and that's back when you had carbon paper. It was not easy to get a print out and all that. Some of you shake your head, so I know that some of you remember those days. And activity was mainly for natural gas. We were looking in 1977 really for natural gas and trying to find the next big discovery. And I was working, my first lease was, I'd started June 1st, and it was not any time that I worked for Cooper West out of Elk City, and I owe him a lot. In fact, he wound up being a regent down the road at the University of Oklahoma, and so he was a mentor of mine. And I remember buying a 5-acre lease from a banker, remember his name, J.D. Westner, out in Cheyenne, Oklahoma, and I was so thrilled. I run down the hall with this 5-acre lease. Most of you know 5 acres is not a whole lot, but it was to me. And so Cooper got this big, he was trying to not smile, he was trying not to make it, but then he kind of started laughing a little bit. He said, well, you're going to get more than that. You're going to keep buying leases, and which I did, and bought a lot of leases for companies like, you remember Getty Oil, Gulf Oil, Champlin, well, I'm too far from here, all those companies, GHK. But the first lease went to GHK, which was Bob Hefner. And it winds up that I'm going to move forward. That was the first lease that I bought. It goes to GHK, Bobby Hefner's company. And it winds up that in 2012, about 2011, I came across this book called The Grand Energy Transition, Robert Hefner III's book. And it was taking us from, to the future, to natural gas and the hydrogen economy and so forth. A really good book. It was endorsed by a future president-to-be, was Donald Trump. and also by Ted Turner. Quite an interesting two men. And so, politically, not necessarily looked the same, but believed in the future of natural gas, and I think of natural gas in this area. And so it winds up, I read the book, and a partner of mine, and business partner, was Gray Frederickson. And Gray Frederickson produced the Godfather movies. And he won the Oscar for Godfather 2. And I'm going to go back and forth here, back and forth meaning time-wise. So in about 1998, he moves back to Oklahoma from living in Beverly Hills for 30 years. And we became friends, and he asked if I would be his business partner on the finance side and take care of the accounting, the CFO's title. And I said, I don't know anything about movies. I mean, my sister, who she probably tell you everything about movies as far as Trivial Pursuit there is. And he said, no, I really need somebody that understands business. And he said, my dad was in the oil and gas business, and he talked about having, crews and lights and all these things to keep the 24/7 going. And so I said, well, let me think about it. And I used Nancy as my excuse to go to her and hopefully talk me out of this and say, well, Nancy is not interested. So I go back to Nancy and said, I can be in the movie business. Here it is, and so forth. And she said, well, think about it. Sounds pretty neat. And so I did, and it wound up that we became business partners and made a real interesting name, Gray Mark, as a company, Gray Mark Productions. And so that was 2001. Now back to 2011 time frame. So I present this book to Gray, and he said, well, that's a great book. That's going to be good. That's going to be great. He said, that's my, Robert Hefner III was my roommate in college. Now, who would think that here's a movie producer from Beverly Hills, goes to OU. I think Richard, by the way, Richard Ryerson knows Gray as well, and Bobby Hefner, would have this book that we create a documentary from. And our partners in the documentary were, as far as financing it, were Ted Turner, Aubrey McClendon, and of course Robert Hefner was part of that as well. So we produced this documentary and went national. We showed it at the University of Virginia, Harvard, New York Times Energy Conference, and so forth, to show the importance of natural gas in the future. I want to share with you something that I'm working on, and I could keep going on about different stories. When you get 40 years of business, I've come somewhat where I remember the stories about my grandfather, Stansberry. He would tell a story, and next time you see me, tell the same story. And he might add 2 or 3 stories, but then he will repeat stories. And I'm starting to become that, by the way. So if I start repeating the same stories, please go next. But through the years, I've seen the oil and gas industry. I started in 1977, and then started my own company called More Stansberry, and then got into still natural gas. And we had partners, lead exploration. We were about 200 wells in western Oklahoma, and then we saw the downturn. I've seen the good, bad, and ugly, as many of you have, and felt it by all means. And then started in 1988 a company called the Oklahoma Royalty Company. So we bought properties and trade and so forth. But a lot of the work was on acquiring properties, mergers and acquisitions. So we wound up working for companies. The Louis Dreyfus Company, for example, was one of our clients, and Torch Energy, and on and on. So I wrote a book in 1991 called The Acquisition Process and Due Diligence. It was about how to go about acquiring properties and packaging them and so forth. So then we got on the speaking circuit, and we couldn't drill wells at that time. It was just acquiring properties. So we went through that cycle, merger and acquisition. That started slowing down about 1996, 97, and we're back to looking at deals, and we started looking at exploration. And one thing that came along was, of course, the opportunity to horizontal drilling and fracking. And we owe a lot to Mitchell down in Texas pushing that. And of course, you've seen what's happened through the years. Hydraulic fracturing was not new. It's been 60 years. Horizontal drilling added to that. has brought some things to the forefront as far as different issues. But hydraulic fracturing has been something that we've seen. In fact, an article in National Geographic, November 1978, featured Robert Heflin III and talked about his goal was to even go to 50,000 feet drilling. And we haven't seen that, but we've seen him go to 30,000 feet and had some success. And I know our partner, Lead Exploration, was successful in the Mayfield area, going to 20,000 plus feet as well. What I've done and started in 1992 was called the International Energy Policy Conference. I didn't feel like we were educating the public like we should as far as energy education. So I'd been to Russia and saw the issues over there environmentally. Energy was bad. So I came back, visited with Sargent's Energy Center at the University of Oklahoma, and I said, I'd like to put together a conference. So in 1992, we started a conference at OU. This is the 25th year of the conference, International Energy Policy Conference. But the conference name was great for when it did exist through today, through about this time frame, but we've changed that called to National Energy Talk. And we're not just going to have a conference, we're going out to the people. And that's one reason I'm here today, is to say we really want to get the word out as far as dialogue. There's not enough dialogue. There's a lot of button heads, but really dialogue about our energy future and what that means. And that means I'm not going to be able to agree with everybody that comes and speaks. But I do have a platform right now, so I can tell you. But National Energy Talk. And the website will be coming up soon, be 1st of July. We will have talks, mainly in Oklahoma at first, in western Oklahoma and Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Edmond, and other locations. Having a dialogue at universities, having as far as the public being involved. And so you'll see more of that as time goes on. I have an article that comes out monthly, a column that is, in Oil Men magazine. I also a column in GTR News, which goes out to quite a few newspapers in the eastern part of the state. An Exploring Energy News column. And this tells, I'm going to hand this out. This was an Oil Men magazine, just came out, called National Energy Talk. It tells about it, so I'm not going to go in detail, but if someone could help me pass these out, I think that's all. That'll tell more about it instead of me dialoguing about that. I have other interests that I share, and I guess when you get to this point in life, you start looking at other things. And besides the bucket list, I was interviewed not too long ago about what's on your bucket list. And I said, I don't have a bucket list. I have a journey list, because I don't believe in kicking the bucket. I'm still journeying, still going on that journey. And so I had some art. It's called encaustic art. It goes back to Egyptian Greek days, where you use a torch gun and paints, oil pigments, and so forth, and create your art. It's very interesting. And so if anybody's interested in seeing that, anyway, I have about 26 pieces of art that's at the CHK, the Chesapeake Central Boathouse in Oklahoma City. And if you haven't, the art's not the thing. If you haven't seen the boathouse, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable architecture work there. And so please go by there. It's at the CHK Central Boathouse through the end of July. And then I wrote a song, because I've talked about butting heads, about music. About January, I was on the Grammy board for several years as an advisor of the Grammy board. And so I've written songs for a long time, actually over 50 years. And so, yeah. And so it's really a lot of fun to do. It's great therapy, and I hope it's a therapy for others that listen to songs. But I had one song that it's called La 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 Da, and it's you can see it on Facebook, Twitter, and whatever. It's on Amazon. I mean, there's some ways to get it by looking at it free, so you don't have to pay for it. But and that'd be through the video that we have on different channels and so forth. But the CD, of course, is on Amazon and Spotify and so forth. But the reason I wrote that song is similar back to going to people. It's how do we bond people together, peace through understanding. And so I think it's so important to have La 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 Da, which begin each day thinking of you is the way it starts. Begin each day, you're in my heart. And it's La 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 Da. 3.5 minutes. And so I'd gone to play at South by Southwest and at San Marcos University. Well, that's actually a location near San Marcos at the university down there. And so there's a group from Rutgers and Syracuse walked in, and I was playing a song or two, and I started this song, and all of a sudden they're standing and applauding, and they're joining in. I just stand back and let them sing the song. And then I'd go to another place up in York, and they do this, York College, and it's high school students there, and they do the same thing. They participate, which I'm excited about. So Matt, I mentioned Matt Stansberry, my son has a group called Matt Stansberry Romance, and I told him about this song. I said, getting some good feedback. He said, let's record it. And so we not only recorded, we've got a video of it. So anyway, if you get a chance, it's not just because it's a song. I think it sends a message that I share with you from my heart to you. Well, on my heart, and I could keep going on, and I've got about 5 minutes, 10 minutes here. What's really on my heart today, and I want to share with you, is higher education. And many of you, it really touches because of being in Alva and having the campus here is so important to the future of this city, this area, and to our state and nation. And many folks, first of all, think that we get paid some money as a regent. And I remember I was at a Rotary Club last week speaking in Edmond, and a state regent that was sitting next to me said, be sure to tell them you don't get paid. And so, okay, I don't get paid. You've heard it. But I do get paid. And that is not cash value, but it is the student. And when you see a student come across that platform, receiving that degree, that's the biggest thrill. I don't know how to describe it better. I'm sitting here looking out, and you'll see parents, grandparents. This may be the first child in their family that has graduated. It happens all the time. And no matter what, whether it's the first or it's the 50th, it's a thrill to that family. They're very excited about their kid's future, their friend's future. And I guarantee you, as a regent, that's a huge thrill. But it takes a great deal of sacrifice. And I think of somebody like Richard Ryerson, who as a regent has spent, and he's a friend of yours, friend of mine, he's given a lot of his time, didn't say a whole lot, but he's given a lot of time for this city, and I think you know that, but as a regent as well. And he was head of the building committee at one point, and did a great job, because there's so many issues when you talk about building. We're not talking about just the big brick and mortar, we're talking about also all the upkeep and all the maintenance that has to be taken care of. And if anybody knows about building and across the state and facilities, it was Richard Ryerson. So I owe a lot to him, and I know you all do too, for all he's done for higher education, and still does. He hasn't quit. The regent, and a lot of folks don't realize what a regent really is. I mean, we think of state regent, you hear a regent from OU and a regent from OSU and so forth. What comprises the regional university system of Oklahoma? Well, it's constitutional driven. In the 40s, it was created. We have 6 universities: Northeastern, Northwestern, Southeastern, Southwestern, ECU, and ECU, and UCO, excuse me, UCO. And there are 9 regents. And so our job is to constitutionally govern from the standpoint of making sure we get the right presidents. We have 3,000 staffers, faculty, so forth, around 40,000 students. And then we have the budgets we look at. The state starts at the Capitol, the state, and of course state regents, and there are a lot of folks involved. We have even a meeting tomorrow to look at, as far as the budgets, as far as looking at tuition increases or not, or what are we going to be doing in the future, what's our plans, what's our vision, and so forth. And so these 9 regents are you can only have 2 from the same profession. So if there's somebody in the oil and gas business, there's only one other person that could be from the oil and gas business, in other words. And we meet across the state. We'll be here in September. Thanks to Steve and this table over here, they'll be organizing it, putting a pretty good deal together. so we can meet. But we have committees, and we just don't show up at a meeting. We do a lot of research and a lot of planning. And so we have a personnel committee, we have an audit and finance committee, a policy and procedures committee, facility stewardship committee, educational excellence, system advancement, pension committee, investment advisory. And then I'm adding one, if elected, I mentioned at this table, I said, yeah, I'm in line to be chair. You still got to get elected. So I'm working at seeing if that happens or not. I'm going, well, there may be somebody else better as chair, and I haven't, that's not working. I think in line it looks like the plans are there, but if I am elected, one committee I'd like to have is called Vision and Planning. And the vision and planning would be just that, looking at not from budget to budget. I know we have master plans, which are very important to our system, to our universities. But I'm talking about really looking at the vision. Where do we stand for the future of higher education? And UCO is a good example. They have a STEM Technology Research Center, which will open this fall. And the center includes research labs, new classrooms and faculty office space, the Center for Interdisciplinary Biomedical Education and Research, the Center for Research and Education, forensic science laboratories, an applied mathematics suite, and a nursing simulation station. And it's an integral part of the plan to advance the Oklahoma City Innovation District, and has a downtown Oklahoma City campus offering MBA, public policy, and general education coursework. Now keep in mind, though each university is separate, the presidents meet together every time in discussing how we can work together more effectively. The business managers work together from all the different universities in our system. And so it's definitely, and we have one office in Oklahoma City that's run by an executive director. Her name's Sheridan McCaffrey, and we have a general counsel and so forth. And so it's well run, and really appreciate the leadership and also those that support it. NSU, for example, has a College of Optometry. It's one of only 21 in the U.S. 84% of NSU classes have fewer than 30 students. Northwestern, and U.S. News & Report ranked it as having the lowest campus living cost in the nation. The nursing program now includes a doctorate in nursing. A lot of these facts I'm giving you because you're here, but you know them already, but I'm giving it to you again. The program is ranked in the top 20 in the nation with a 100% pass rate on the exam in 4 of the past 5 years. Pretty impressive. It has an agriculture education program, a university farm, as well as a competitive rodeo team. When I mention that, people perk up thinking, wow, this is really cool that we have a rodeo team here in this area. Southeastern, like UCO, its School of Business has achieved AACSB accreditation, and it has a completely online MBA program. And one thing, it has an Aviation Science Institute. I remember going down there, and it was pretty impressive that a lot of those being trained to fly come out of, for example, American Eagle, create a career and path for graduates into all areas of aviation. Southwestern, I won't say a lot of it since it's close.
Good plan.
But anyway, they have a good plan. I want to say College of Pharmacy is what they're known for. Just celebrated 75th anniversary. And of course, the Pioneer Cellular Event Center resulted in a public-private partnership. And we're going to start seeing more and more public-private partnerships. When I first started as a regent, 2001, we had 70% public funding. Today, 30%. That's about approximately. So we're having to look at more private partnerships and public partnerships. And then ECU, the largest nursing program in southern Oklahoma, they have a new water resources policy and management program. And RUSO universities are student-focused and emphasize learning and teaching. RUSO students are mentored by degree professionals in smaller class sizes that expose them to a full range of educational opportunities. RUSO students are often non-traditional, diverse students who are completing their degree as adults, commuting from home or working with their way through college. And RUSO, and that's Regional University System Oklahoma, ensures that Oklahoma has a skilled workforce where it is needed and where our graduates make an immediate and positive impact. Can you name some of the graduates that come from the RUSO system? Name one. From Northwestern. Somebody come to mind?
Mike Gardner.
Okay.
Rob Snable.
All right.
Rob Snable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom McDaniel, yes, definitely. Any others? You have a judge. Joe Heaton, I believe, came from
Yeah,
Joe Heaton. And Major General, you mentioned one area. You know, we go across the state and we've had Reba McIntyre, Carrie Underwood, Miss America Chantel Smith, Lauren Nelson, Kevin Turner. Now, interesting about Kevin Turner, he's a RUSO graduate. He was a clerk and had to work his way up, and he winds up being employed by Walmart and moved up the ladder there, and eventually he became CEO of Microsoft. Now, I mentioned famous names like the governor of Anatubby or Cherokee Nation Bill John Baker and others. Rex, you know, I can go on and on. But with that said, there are teachers, there are the professionals, there's all those out there will never have a billboard, never will have a name on a plaque. That student I talked about walking across the stage, I may see him for the last, or her for the last time walking across that stage. But it's because of you that makes an impact. Well, how can I make an impact? Well, you can encourage. I don't have to say, I don't have the money. Well, you can encourage the student. You can support that student. And a lot of them come from a long way off and they need somebody to cheer them up, I guarantee you. If you do have finances, there's definitely foundations that you can give money to. There's scholarship funding. There's a way to develop, if you have a business, develop private-public partnerships. Look at what I talked about the committee's going to do is a vision and planning. Think about that as you think about the future of your children, your grandchildren, and the graduates of the future. How do you play a part? Not how does the regents all play a part. How do you play a part? And that is by contributing some time. It may be going to a game and cheering some folks on, or to a music concert, or whatever it might be. So keep that in mind as you think about higher education. So the Regional University System of Oklahoma, something I'm very proud of, but we've got some mountains to climb, and that's through the budgets ahead. And that's where we definitely need your support in so many ways. Well, I was a Kiwanis years ago, Key Club president, Circle K. This is quite an honor to be here with you. And again, I can, as Steve and the table knows, I can keep on going a lot. I'm not. I appreciate this time. This is 40 years in the business, 40 years of marriage, 40 years of a lot of things. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.